I'm Jeffrey St. Arromand, cast member of Owning Manhattan. So right now, let's get to the point. This week on Let's Get to the Point, I'm talking about what everyone is talking about.
Tariffs.
And its impact on all the markets.
China, so 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. In other words, they charge us, we charge them.
But could this be a boost for the luxury real estate sector? So here's what's happening. President Trump's tariffs on 60 countries have totally upended global stock markets. We're talking serious turmoil here, with recession fears swirling. So after markets lost a staggering $10 trillion in value, Trump decided to pause the new tariffs for 90 days, except for China, where he actually cranked them up to 125%.
Somebody had to do what we did, and I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate.
Now here's the silver lining though. All this market craziness could push nervous investors to ditch volatile stocks and park their money in high-end real estate instead. Now think about it. They're looking for something solid and tangible right now. Here's the thing, the numbers back this up too. Data shows that real estate was actually a smaller chunk of wealthy portfolios late last year, which signals there's tons of room for growth in the luxury housing sector. But it's not all rosy. New construction is definitely taking a hit, with tariffs driving up costs on lumber, drywall, appliances, flooring, and who else other than the buyers will end up having to absorb a lot of these increased expenses. This isn't going to happen immediately, but possibly in the future when more new development inventory hits the market. That said, I want to reach out to Pierre Debbas from Arromand Debbas, one of the top luxury real estate attorneys working in New York City and the Hamptons, to get his take on how these tariffs are playing out in real time within the luxury sector.
Thanks, Jeff. Tariffs are a tailspin in the month of April. The cost of materials is skyrocketing. We really don't know how this is going to impact pricing of luxury real estate. Now, presumably pricing will go up. And the interesting thing about these tariffs is that demand's also going up. Because why is demand going up? Demand goes up because during uncertain times, people gravitate towards real estate as a safe and stable investment. And the good thing about these tariffs that actually could come about is a reduction in interest rates. Interest rates have been killing our market the last 3 years. And what you may be having now is a reduction in rates on bonds, which will bring down the 10-year treasury, which will bring down mortgage rates, which will only further increase demand for real estate. So the silver lining of this whole thing is that real estate can ultimately be a beneficiary from the crazy tariffs that are going on that we've never seen in our lifetimes. So how will this play out? We'll have to find out. But costs are definitely going up, demand's going up, should mean pricing's going up. We'll see.
Now this week on Let's Get to the Point, we're talking about a cliche that is loosely thrown around by real estate agents and even mortgage brokers sometimes, especially in this high interest rate environment.
We marry the house, we date the rate.
Marry the house, date the rate.
Now this implies you will live in a house longer term, similar to a marriage, while the interest rate, you just date and you can later refinance. Now, when I hear agents use this term so matter-of-factly, it just gets under my skin. Now, my biggest issue with this is that sometimes it's not good advice. And here's why. The phrase suggests that there isn't a cost associated with refinancing, when in actuality, it can range from 2 to 6% of the loan balance. Here's another issue. If homeowners don't stay in the home long enough, the savings from a lower rate may never outweigh those upfront costs. And now another misnomer is the assumption that rates are expected to fall. The data so far this year has shown that's not necessarily been the case. Inflation has yet to hit the Federal Reserve's 2% benchmark, and the 10-year Treasury, well, that's been somewhat volatile. More economists expect the 30-year fixed rate mortgage to remain above 6% through 2025 and beyond. Now, another misconception the buyers have is the return of the post-pandemic rock bottom rates, which is 3 to 4%, and that's simply unrealistic. That said, I wanted to talk to one of the top mortgage brokers in the country, Brian Scott Cohen of Guaranteed Rate. Now, he's going to give us his take on refinancing and this entire process.
It's a hot topic. Before clients even buy right now, they all want to know, how much does it cost to refinance? When should I refinance? And they talk about this before they actually own the home. Let's break it down. People are going to refinance. The average person keeps a home mortgage less than 7 years. They refinance, they sell, life habits. They get married, have kids. To refinance, when it usually makes the most sense is when buyers can get a reduced interest rate or they may need cash. There are costs regarding refinancing, but usually there's a break-even point. Anywhere between 12 and 24 months is when it makes sense to refinance to make back your closing costs. But when rates drop, which they are going to drop eventually, take advantage of it, but buy now. As we're seeing rates come down slightly, we're seeing more activity in the market. We're seeing bidding wars, but not as much inventory. So if you find what you like, get out there and buy it now.
We're going to discuss a topic that will directly impact the economy. No, it's not tariffs, nor is it interest rates, which thankfully have been trending down the last couple of weeks. But we're talking about something else, the great wealth transfer. Baby boomers have reached the age where conversations of retiring and downsizing are finally happening. Now, typically, it's also the time parents begin to see just how much of their estate they're willing to share with their children while everyone is still together. But here's the catch. The great wealth transfer is actually projected to hand off trillions of dollars from baby boomers to their Generation X, Millennial, and Generation Z adult children over the next 20 years. So the value is totaling nearly $84 trillion, with about $72 trillion going to heirs and $12 trillion to charities. Now, according to a new survey, folks over 60 are holding on to their assets for as long as possible. Now, according to a new report from Charles Schwab, almost half of the boomers surveyed confessed that they wanted to enjoy my money for myself while I'm still alive. I can hear my parents saying that now. Can't you? Especially my grandparents saying that. But UBS forecasted that boomers' assets would transfer to the younger generations within the next, let's say, 20 to 25 years. While there's data that suggests children of boomers will still inherit real estate from their folks, the timeline has definitely stretched. So the great wealth transfer is happening right now, but many aging boomers have other ideas, which I actually agree with, including sharing family travel they and their families can enjoy together. Call it revenge travel, but every generation is eager to hit the roads and the runways. Now, one key trend in the travel industry is multi-generational travel, where typically older adults organize, finance, and even share the expenses and make memories with their adult children and grandchildren. That I really like. But the question remains, how will the wealth transfer impact the real estate market? 3 out of 4 boomer homeowners were reportedly looking to pass the proceeds from the sale of their homes or the homes themselves to their kids. Now, that's according to a survey by Freddie Mac. Now, we know this is necessary as home prices continue to escalate. Now, boomer-owned homes will decline from 32 million in 2022 to 23 million by 2035, meaning more houses will still enter the market in the coming decade. The economic changes of this past decade, inflation, combined with rising healthcare costs and living longevity, have made it rather necessary for mom and dad and grandma to hold on to their assets. It's no wonder that the majority of boomers are planning to distribute only about 40% of their assets while living, leaving the rest to pass on after their passing. So that, my friends, is what home wealth transfer is all about. South Florida has become the land of the branded condo. And on season 2 of Owning Manhattan, that we're currently shooting right now as we speak, we head down to Brickell, which is in South Florida, and we launch one of the premier branded buildings. The Mercedes-Benz Places is one of the best looking buildings in South Florida. And trust me, you don't want to miss what we do on season 2. Currently, there are 13 projects under construction in Miami-Dade County in tandem with like hotels, car companies, and fashion houses. But the question is, why is that? Why all of a sudden there's so many of these branded condo buildings like the Mercedes-Benz Places? And they're increasingly getting brand names primarily, here's the reason why, primarily as a marketing strategy to enhance their appeal and also obviously differentiate themselves from other properties in the area and to create a sense of prestige and exclusivity, often targeting, high-end buyers by associating the building with a recognizable brand, i.e. Mercedes-Benz Places. There are key few reasons for this trend. And first, let's start with the obvious, increased competition. We talked about 13 new buildings going up. And in a competitive real estate market, a unique and appealing name can help a condo building stand out and ultimately attract buyers, which is always what developers want. An image building, a well-chosen name, can convey a desired lifestyle or aesthetic, again, attracting buyers looking for a specific image associated with the brand. And then we have premium pricing. All these things lend itself to premium pricing. Branded condos can often command higher prices due to the perceived add value and prestige associated with the name, i.e., Mercedes-Benz places. Now, all of this ultimately leads to one thing: marketing leverage. Now, a brand allows for more target marketing campaigns and it's easier recognition among potential buyers, which is the bottom line. But now you have the ultimate question. What does a luxury car maker, an Italian fashion house, and Michelin star French chef have in common in South Florida? They are among the more than a dozen luxury brands collaborating with developers to build luxury condominiums with features including everything from personalized furniture, car elevators, and private restaurants to lure more ultra-rich buyers to greater Miami. And trust me, right now with this snow in New York City, there are a lot of snowbirds that are heading down to Miami. While South Florida has for years been a hot spot of hospitality, the new wave of residences bearing luxury consumer labels, this became increasingly common throughout 2024. Let's talk about my favorite branded building in Miami, specifically in Brickell, and that's the Mercedes-Benz Places. So this 67-story building is where style meets skyline. This is the most distinctive urban oasis available on the Gold Coast. So here's a little background about the building. So the Mercedes-Benz Places in Miami is being developed by JDS Development Group, none other than them. Now, this is one-of-a-kind, future-oriented residential tower is defined by, get this, 800 luxurious condominium residences spread over 67 stories. It also includes plenty of space for amenities, as you would imagine, and a world-class boutique hotel. Now, the eye-catching tower is set to be completed around the end of 2027. It combines sophistication, convenience, and sustainable living in one extraordinary location. Now, here's the thing. The building masterfully incorporates Mercedes-Benz design philosophy of sensual purity through contrasting elements. It's featuring free-flowing, clear lines and shapes, and inspired by none other than nature. Mercedes-Benz will include a curated selection of upscale offerings to rejuvenate and stay active, including cultural and recreational hubs, as well as areas to foster community engagement. That, my friends, sounds like a place I want to move into. Now, as I always say about new development, specifically a branded new development, you aren't just buying an apartment, you're buying a lifestyle. Now, shadow yachts are riding a demand wave. Even Jeff Bezos has one. Now, ship owners are demanding bells and whistles to the point of needing a whole second boat. Now, shadow yachts support larger, often uber luxurious ships. And when it comes to the most elite circles of yachting, they've become a necessary, let's say, flossing item. So let's take Jeff Bezos, for example, who reportedly spent in the ballpark of $500 million to build his 417-foot mega yacht. Now, the ship was delivered with a $75 million boat. Staying in the luxury sector, luxury homes across 30 global financial hubs are expected to increase in value by 1.6% on average in this year. That's following a year of 2.2% growth value. And appreciation is set to vary widely, with the biggest upswing in Dubai and several major Spanish cities. Now, Madrid topped the list of all 30 global cities in 2024, with luxury property prices rising 9.4%, followed by Barcelona with an 8.6% growth. Meanwhile, in the U.S., luxury prices fell in Miami and New York in 2024, but both are forecasted to see price growths this year. Thanks for watching, and for all your latest real estate news, continue to follow Estate Media for all the latest updates.